Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, somebody I've known well, I consider a friend. I've known him since he was in Congress. He did a great job in his speech in laying out kind of the foreign policy vision.
President Trump understands what my great fellow Kansas President Eisenhower said. For all that we cherish and justly desire for ourselves or for our children, the securing of peace is the first requisite. Indeed, the primary constitutional function of the national government is ensuring that your family and mine are safe and enjoy the freedom to live, to work, to learn, and to worship as they choose.
And just a week ago, the United Arab Emirates and the Israelis executed joint agreements, bilateral agreements for trade, for tourism. This is gigantic.
Our school choice initiative, I think, shaped a lot of this talking points. When
you think about that,
honestly,
school choice, Brunson, Nairn, and then Brunson again yesterday. I feel like we've had a pretty good impact.
And honestly, sometimes I felt like they were just reading our ACLJ emails like verbatim. I was like, I'm pretty sure we wrote that. We didn't, but I do think we were on the forefront of that issue. People were talking about it, but not near as much as when we started bringing it to light. And it was really the focal point of a lot of the speeches.
He has made substantial investments in our historically black colleges and universities. This president also continues to fight for school choice, giving parents more options to help their children flourish.
I think both nights have been very good. I thought yesterday, substantively, what I liked was the fact that the life issue was discussed, religious liberty was discussed, school choice was discussed. There was a variety of issues.
This is a buffet every night. This is a little bit for everyone every night. So if you like your national security, you're going to like tonight, but you're also going to like it because you got a little bit of the truckers and you got a little bit of the Frederick Douglass Foundation and you have a bit of a mix.
Player.
Yeah, and the first night you had obviously Herschel Walker, and you mix it up, and I think that's what makes this interesting.
One of the most memorable moments was clearly on the pro-life side was Abby Johnson, who came out of the abortion industry.
Life is a core tenet of who we are as Americans. And this election is a choice between two radical anti-life activists and the most pro-life president we have ever had. That's something that should compel you to action, that reelects our president, and do it with our very most vulnerable Americans in mind, the ones who haven't been born yet.
She brings up an interesting point when she calls the Biden-Harris ticket two radical anti-life activists. Joe Biden, historically, not an anti-life activist, but has kind of kowtowed because he had the whole Hyde Amendment.
Yeah,
he had all of those things.
Amendment.
Those were his bills. Those were his creations. But now, because he just wants to be the president, guess what? He's got to go for the most radical.
The lobsterman from Maine, Jason Joyce. Let's take a listen to this.
I live on an island with 370 residents, and lobstering is how we provide for our families. Maine's lobstermen are true environmentalists. We practice conservation every day. If we didn't, we'd be putting ourselves out of business. 4 years ago, the Obama-Biden administration used the Antiquities Act to order thousands of square miles of ocean off limits to commercial fishermen. They did it to cater to environmental activists. Although Maine's lobstermen don't fish there, Obama's executive order offended us greatly. It circumvented the Fisheries Council's input. President Trump reversed that decision, reinstating the rules that allow stakeholder input, and he supports a process that seeks and respects fishermen's views.
Again, you're touching on real people. This doesn't feel like a Hollywood show at that point. There's enough razzle-dazzle in it to make you excited and fun.
I think it's
human emotion, and it works. Again, this is not, they didn't have to go in there and rewrite everything. You had to go in there and just have people being themselves and telling their stories.
People were moved by the pardon, which I was too. And I think that, listen, Republican or Democrat, the Second Chance Act has been phenomenal. What the president did last night by granting that pardon, I think, was just this is what needs to be happening, and this was great.
My hope for America is that formerly incarcerated people will be afforded the opportunity to take advantage of the fact that we live in a nation of second chances. My hope for America is that law enforcement and people in the communities across our country can come together and realize that as Americans, we have more in common than we have differences.
I just thought it was a great, great moment of, again, memorable things that took place that say something.